there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to dive into creating low content books for kids. The particular niche we're going to be targeting today is going to be how to draw books, and I'm going to show you how to create some of your own, and we are going to use a few different products. Some are free and some are subscription based. In particular, we're going to be using Photopea, we're going to be using Canva, and we're going to be using Vecteezy. Photopea is fantastic if you don't have your own image editing software, and Canva Pro is actually what we use all the time for these sort of tutorials. So hopefully this gives you some ideas, and since low content can absolutely work for you, I think that it's a great place to start. If you're new to the channel or new to passive income, welcome. I'm Sarah, and this is I Publish Ghostwriters. On this channel, we're here to help you create passive income that works for you, especially when it comes to online publishing. We've published hundreds of books in dozens of different languages on Amazon KDP, Ingram Spark, Audible, and tons more. The content we create is to help you do the same thing and achieve the sort of financial freedom that passive income can bring. As always, if you like this video or you want to see more like it, go ahead and leave a like down below so that we can provide you with the kind of content you want to see. And if you want more videos like this or on passive income, make sure you subscribe to the channel with post notifications on so that you never miss a single one. We're always trying new things so that we can bring you the best tips, tricks, and tutorials. So you're definitely going to want to stay dialed in. Without any further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so the way that we're going to get started on this is going to be looking at how to draw books and seeing what else is being offered in the niche so that you can sort of build from there. I usually try to do this on a fresh account, on an empty, incognito page, just so that it's showing you what is actually popular versus what is being promoted to you and things like that. So on this one, we're kind of just looking at sort of the popular ones. As we get closer to the holidays, obviously it is going to be very popular to do the holiday ones. I'm going to show you sort of more of an evergreen approach to this, because while you absolutely can maximize your return and do holiday stuff as the holidays amp up, and right now is a great time to do that, like selling how to draw Christmas stuff is great, like stocking stuffers, things like that, perfect for kids. But, you know, something like how to draw animals or how to draw everything, like this one, is going to provide sort of money all year round, because your Christmas ones are not going to sell in the middle of July. But let's kind of take a look at these. I am looking for something super simple. Things that you can recreate very easily. And see, this one, the way it does a little bit of the drawing and then it goes all the way through. It gives you sort of a place to trace, and it's great for really young kids. And that's a really good one to keep in mind. I do want to try and find something simple. This is a really good one to look at because you see you've got the drawing step by step, and then you've got a blank page for them to practice. And it just makes it sort of feel very good for like step by steps and things like that. And they feel like they're getting more value out of that. And this one is 64 pages, which means there's only technically about 32 drawings that you actually have to recreate. So we're gonna sort of follow this this format, but let's look at some other ones just to sort of see what else other people are doing. This one was suggested right below, and as we see, it's kind of the same thing. Got a drawing, then a page. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to make something like this. Really easy, and we're going to switch over to Vecteezy and find some sort of base drawings that we're going to work off of, and then go from there. Okay, so we are on Vecteezy, and I just searched the word animal drawing, and I was kind of taking a look and seeing if this would be a good way to start. I'm actually going to start with these. And this drawing right here. Now, right beneath that one, you're going to see a whole lot of different ones that are similar, and these will be perfect if you want to work with bits and pieces. of them. So if you want to do like a bee, a fish, whales, things like that. The book that one of them that we looked at that was like drawing a little bit of everything. This is perfect because you have a wide array of things to work with. But we're going to pick one that'll be super simple to edit, and we're just going to download that, and we're going to go. Now, once you have that image saved on your computer, you're going to open it up, and this is Photopea. Photopea is just sort of like a Photoshop emulator. It's free. All the tools are free. If you have PSDs or any sort of Photoshop files, you can absolutely just import it straight in here and edit from there. The reason I'm using this over Canva Pro is I do want to show you how to edit the images, and I'm going to try and do that piece by piece, just to make it really easy. Because while I might have Photoshop experience, not everybody does, which is perfectly fine. You do not need Photoshop experience to do this. So I'm going to open up the file real quick. And we have the file right here. And you see it's got all this other information, and we don't need all of that. So I'm taking the rectangle select tool, and I'm just going to select this one. We're going to cut, file, new, edit, paste. All right. So the only thing on here that we do not need is going to be this colored part. So we're going to change this, and we're going to recreate these. There we go. All right. Layer, new fill layer. I'm creating a round layer here just to cover it back up. And I'm going to erase the original one. Doing the same thing. We duplicate that one because it's the same image. Drag that over. Now, usually I would speed some of these up, but because I understand that not everybody is going to have the same skill set, which is there's no problem with that, I am hoping to make this just a little bit easier to get started from zero. Now, I've got these gone, and the way that I'm going to recreate that is going to be layer, layer style. We're going to outer glow. Then outer glow, I'm going to hit black, because I'm going to create sort of a line around there, and I'm going to show you how to do that, because we're recreating the same exact shape that we had just a minute before. All right. Made a little circle there, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy layer style. And just go ahead and paste that same layer style there. All right, so now we've got this fully black and white image, and now the next part is going to be deconstructing it into individual bits so that your buyer can create the drawing themselves. Now this one's a little bit more of a complicated drawing, so we're going to start with, we are going to duplicate this. I always want to retain this file, my original file, though I do have the other one here, so I can always recopy it if need be. However, I want to make sure that I can always go back if I make a mistake. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make that go away. And then I'm just going to go ahead and erase all the major details. All right, so here we have our first one, and we are going to go ahead, switch this back, copy merged, and then we're going to make a new file. So now this one, I'm actually going to make my coloring book page. So I'm going to do, it is width 8 inches by 11. And that is what we're going to work with for this one. And then we're going to go ahead and edit, paste. Now, obviously this is huge. So we're going to transform, scale. In Photoshop, that would be for free transform. So, that looks okay, but I'm actually going to do it a little bit differently. Okay, so I did it a little differently that time. I didn't speed it up because the way I did it was I hit the shift key and I dragged this so it would retain its sizing, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit off proportion. That way it just keeps that in place. And so we've got one photo here, and we're going to do this again with the next two, and I'm going to do those now. All right, and again, we're going to edit, paste, and we're going to edit, scale. Okay, so this will actually make a whole lot more sense to explain it. We are going to go ahead again, transfer, scale, and the way I did this was I went ahead and hit darken, which got rid of all of the white on this one, and I want to make sure that they are the exact same size and that we are working with the same proportions on everything so that it doesn't look a little wonky. So I'm going to go ahead, I am hitting shift and then dragging, and we're going to see and get them exactly the same size. There we go. As you saw, I had to do a little bit of fine tuning just to get it perfect, but then we're going to add in that second one. And they are their own layers. And then we're going to do the third one, and I'll show you how to do that. Essentially, the main focus of this is going to be making sure that each time you make a layer, it's got a little bit more detail. So we've got the round circle for the original layer, and then we've got the fins and the stomach for the second layer, and then for the third layer, the only thing I need to add is the face, so that's going to kind of look like that. go ahead, edit, copy merged, edit, paste. And again, we're going to shift and bring it up to the right size, but only after I hit darken. All right. Well, there we go. We've got that third one done. Now I might have to shift these around just a little bit, just to make sure that everything fits comfortably. I actually want to make them a little smaller, so let's go ahead and do that. And now I've got all three, so let's sort of space these out. All right, and once they're all aligned, the way that I want to do this is I want to go ahead and have sort of a traceable layer for each of them. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to duplicate each of these layers. By going duplicate layer, and I want to make sure they're all on darken. Okay, and then I'm going to hit 50%. Now, obviously, these kind of go off the page, so I'm going to, again, resize the whole thing. And by doing that, I'm going to go copy them all, edit, transform, scale. And once I have all of them sort of in place, I'm only going to bring them down just a little bit. Oh, yeah. There we go. I just want to make sure that everything is aligned, because I know personally it might bother me if they weren't, if I were to buy a book. So I'm going to go to View, Show, Grid. And you see they were a little bit off. Turn it off, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. That way, the person who buys the book or the subsequent kid who is using it will have something to sort of immediately guide them on drawing, because there's nothing worse than a drawing book that is like, draw the beginning of the photo, draw the rest of the photo. So, with this, the only thing I want to add is a little bit of text that says, like, draw the whale, And then I'm going to do a page that says practice area. So since we've kind of got this down and you absolutely have a starting point for that, we are going to save this image. We're going to move it over to Canva, where we're going to build the rest of the book. Over here in Canva, create a design, and we are doing custom size, again, inches, 8 by 11. Open that on up. Now I've got my file here. We're going to go to uploads, and we're going to upload that image. And there it is. Now we're going to open it up here, and we're going to size it to the right page. That's done. So we want a little text that says, draw the whale. I kind of want a cutesy font for that. And I personally do like keeping as much when it comes to, when it comes to KDP, I want to keep these images inside those guidelines because it does give you sort of a margin to work with. So I'm actually going to delete that real quick, bring it back over. And I'm just going to, there we go, much better. This way your image is not going to get caught by Amazon KDP's system, and they're still big enough to draw. So for this second page, I want a completely blank page. So the way I'm going to do that, again, blank page, copy, I want the same text and size, paste, same spot, and then I'm going to put practice area. All right. And that's actually going to be it for this drawing. So you're going to go ahead and do as many of these as you want. Like I said, some of these books, they're under 100 pages, and you only need to create one for every other page. So if it's 60 pages, you need to do 30 of these. I did one right here with you. There are tons of different options here. You can absolutely make them a little bit more complicated. You can do a whole book on just magical creatures. You can do unicorns, mermaids, things like that. You can do dinosaurs. When you're sort of niching down into something that you know will be profitable, all you need to pick out is something simple to work with. Like this alone could be 3 different pages. You could do unicorns, dragons, mermaids. Typing one-handed is not my strong suit, but there you go. You got one right here. You can edit it up. Try and stick to simple. Absolutely, you can do something more complicated, but it's going to take more time. I think at the time of this recording, I've only been doing this for about 25 minutes, and I got one done, let's say about 15 minutes. Real time of that was the actual editing in Photopea. Obviously, I'm going to do it a little bit more quicker, and you absolutely will too, because you're not having to explain it. You're just following a guideline. But naturally, this was a bit like a little bit of a longer video, and I apologize for that. I do usually try to keep things nice and short so that you can just follow, but you guys expressed in the comments that you wanted to see sort of like that direct step by step. So the only things that I did speed up in this were the things that I explained either immediately before or after, so that you didn't have to watch me sort of like messing things up and having to fix them, because the thing with all of this is a lot of these tools are going to take a little bit of time to get used to. I personally am very comfortable with Photoshop. So Photopea was sort of like an easy switch, but also Photopea doesn't have all of the tools that I'm personally used to on Photoshop. There's a couple things that are missing. But for what we're doing, there's nothing that I can't use the tools that it gives me for, because it's a great tool. And like I said, I used Canva for the rest of it, and I used Vecteezy for the original image. So if either of those things, if you want to simplify your process, make all of this way easier for you, those are great tools to work with. And other than that, that's honestly that's going to be it for today. I hope that you find this informative. I hope that this gives you some sort of ideas on where to start. I think these how to draw books are a fantastic place that you can absolutely draw inspiration from and create on your own. Something like Vecteezy is going to help you do that by providing you with those simple images that you can sort of deconstruct and create. And so you don't need to hire an artist or find a gig on Fiverr for non-unique art, because you can get something as easy as a Vecteezy, which provides you with the vectors to make this anyways. So if either of those things, Canva Pro or Vecteezy, are something that you'd be interested in, we are going to have links down below in the description, and absolutely feel free to click those, check them out. I love them, they're great tools. And if you have any requests or questions or any sort of comment, just leave it down below. We're always checking our comments so we can take your feedback, and we want to figure out what else you guys want to see. So if there's anything else you're interested in seeing, leave it down below and we'll check it out. But that's going to be it for today, so I'll see you guys next time.